Always a delight to have you. And so if you're watching us across various social media platforms, please make sure that you share the stream. Potentially, we know the time is already up, so we'll just acknowledge all of you who are on our stream. We're talking about TV3 Ghana, and I see a couple of you as well. Please make sure that you are part of this conversation. But let me just introduce our guest for the morning. Dr. Kweku Boahen is just to my right. He's new to the show, the segment of the show, not to the platform in itself. Dr. Kweku Boahen is with, what's your organization?
Ghana Watch Initiative.
Ghana Watch Initiative. And so he's a political and governance person, and so will be helping us with the discussions this morning. We're talking about the NPP and the subject of the presidential primaries, and so far they seem to be, so to speak, sending shivers down the spine of the NDC government, and their Deputy Director of Election is right here. Good morning to you, Rashid Tanko.
Great.
Yeah. Rashid Tanko is afraid that the NPP will come back in 2028, so decided to hurriedly be part of this panel so that we can comprehensively broaden. And with the United Party lawyer, Apia Dankwa is here. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Great. And then Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin, especially with GTEC on the heels of many people. I saw a news about one person I love so much, Dr. Eric Osang, somebody I've respected. He's a lawyer, he's a chartered economist, chartered accountant as well, and was at one time the internal audit agency boss as well. But Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin, your PhD is GTEC compliant?
Very, very. And good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Are you a member of UTAG?
Yes, I'm a member of UTAG.
Okay.
I'm the current UTAG Vice President for
UEW.
UEW.
Hey!
Wow.
Yeah.
And every day I've been disrespecting you like this. Please have my honors.
Thank you, man.
How is UTAG doing?
Oh, yes, UTAG is doing fine, except that I was just telling my good friend, Dr. Tanko, that he needs to convey an important message from UTAG to the President and to the Minister for Education. Our book and research allowance for the year 2024-2025 has still not been paid.
Okay, so from which month to which month?
Yeah. Basically, by September, it should be paid.
Okay.
By this time, it has started October, and we are getting to November.
September there.
People need the money for other things, including publications. But you see, I think the whole thing is that the minister actually promised us that by the end of September it was going to be paid. Okay. And people have waited. Making a promise and delivering it, honoring your promise, with respect to the time set is very important. And Roland, our members are not happy. In fact, as I talk to you now, people are calling for meetings, with the national president, to declare strike, and it shouldn't get to that level.
Okay.
So the minister, this one is a direct appeal to the Minister
of Education.
Okay. To
book and research allowance.
Book and research allowance.
Okay. All right. Well noted. And now the NPP primary is on. And we know that all the camps have been throwing salvos. The last time I saw Abronya was being hooted at by, is this some German East constituent?
German South.
German South, okay. The potential delegate, so to speak. But I don't know whether, I had two interpretations to that video. The one who was filming was leading the chant, so to speak, and not the entirety of the delegates. But, for propaganda purposes, if you get your message out there, that's how it works. But let's go through what the potentials are, because we're being told that there was a research publication that was released last week that said Kenny Japan was leading, and DMB was catching up. I don't know. The Musa Dankwa Global Info Analytics also came in and said that DMB had always been leading throughout the period. And so we'll take you through some of those ones as well. But let me quickly just go through this. And so, Dr. Kweku Boahen, how is it looking like, based on your own assessment as a think tank?
Thank you very much. I would like to say a very good morning to your viewers, and then to my constituents back in Amasaman and then Offensive North, actually.
Okay.
If I will go straight to what my good brother Musa Dankwa did, and then as we read out here now, I would say that yes, he's done a good job. Always anybody that wants to venture into the field of research is always a project, or let's say every research comes up with monies that has to go into it, and then you have to do a lot, and then you have to look at your sample size and then all that, and then look at your questionnaires and then how valid and solid they look like. So definitely he's done a good job, but as a think tank, I would say that his figures that were put out there, his sample size to me is woefully inadequate. If we're looking at a voting populace of 204,893 voters, that is the delegates as it stands now. They are yet to add the former executives, the former MPs, and former all those things included, would give us almost about 220-something thousand delegates that are going to be voting. And so if we have 204,893 as it stands now, and you pick a sample size of 2,643, I think it's woefully inadequate. It doesn't even come to 1% if you look at it. So judging or making judgments based on these numbers, to me, it doesn't gel, because 1% out of the total delegates numbers, it doesn't give a fair idea of what to expect out there. And then if you look at the numbers as presented, in one of his pages, it says that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is holding on to 71% of his original voters from 2023 primaries. That is, and in 2023, what are the figures? Dr. Bawumia had 118,210 votes. And so if he's holding out to 71% of those people still being with him, it means that he's still controlling 83,929. And then it means that about 34,000 of his original votes have left him. That is what this research by my good friend Musa Dankwa tells us. So if about 29% of his original data has left him, then it's
but in research you don't need a large sample size. You just need, he's here, so I mean, of course I'll pose those questions to him.
If we want to have a fair,
because are you trying to correlate or relate the sample size to the bigger population? That is for which you're sampling the opinion for.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And I'm saying in research, as we all did by way of academic work, there's no correlation like that.
Roland,
the percentage that you are saying is abruptly inadequate, it does not correlate to that.
Roland, what you have to understand is that this is a research work that you are putting out there to tell people that, listen, this candidate A or candidate B is leading, and then probably will be the person that will win the elections out there, okay? And then your sample size should be adequate to tell us that this is the actual situation on the grounds, okay? So if you pick a constituency like mine in Amasaman here, it has a delegate of population of 1,565.
The delegates?
Yes, in Amasaman alone. Okay? And then Musa tells us that in Greater Accra, he only spoke to 500 and, let me get the figures right. He spoke to, 527 people, okay, in Greater Accra, out of 39,134 delegates that are voting in Greater Accra. And he only spoke to 527. And then this is supposed to tell us that speaking to 527 people would tell us who is leading in a race, okay, out of 39,000 people. Listen, what I'm trying to put out here is that the sampling size is woefully inadequate. And
from your position, don't get any corroboration from Doc. You're on your own, please.
Yes,
you're on your own.
Yes, I'm on my own. But what I want you to understand is that, for instance, last week, Dr. Evans Dia came out with a research.
Is it from your institute?
No. Academic research. That's what he calls them. And then Evans Dia had a sampling size of 26,500 and something. Okay, so 26,000 people, which cumulates to almost about 12% of the numbers that makes up the delegates. If you ask me, I would believe in such a research than 2,000 number of people
for a potential 200,000 plus delegates. Okay.
Yes.
So is it the position based on your assessment from your think tank that then the pointers we're getting? So put the slides on from the snipers we have from the Global Info Analytics latest indication by way of who is leading the race, etc. Can we have that? Oh no. So the sample size allocation, of course. So we had, of course, this was done based on the regional population.
Yeah, exactly.
And so graduatedly, you have Greater Accra, Ashanti going on and on.
That's it.
And
so,
also, let's look at this one. And then indicated that and the gender, we had 76% male, 24% female. Now let's see who is leading. Who would you vote for to lead in the NPP race? Who would you vote for in 2028? 44% said Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and then also Ken Ohene Japan, 19%. And then the others follow us were DBA, we have DOA, KA, etc. But we have undecided 15, not disclosed
15.
15, so that's 30%. If it's added to Ken Japan's own, that's 49%.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then
so that's why I'm asking. So you're saying that the premise on which he picked the sample size is wrong, potentially because there's a bigger population that he's sampling from.
I wouldn't.
Or is it that because Ken Japan or DBA is not leading?
As a research person, I would never say or run down anybody's research.
Okay.
It's a good thing he did. And then what is research supposed to do? Research is supposed to inform us, it's supposed to educate us, it's supposed to put you on your toes. It's supposed to make you know that this one is the one that is leading or winning an election. So, and then you know, what this does is that there are a lot of delegates out there who would not even be listening to messages, but the very moment they see this, they want to just follow it and say, oh, this person is leading, so let me go and support the person. That is why I'm saying that, listen, if you look at the numbers here, like you rightly put it, the regional allocations that he did, Greater Accra is 527, Ashanti out of Greater Accra 527 out of 39,134 delegates that are going to vote. We have 473 in Ashanti region out of 35,756. Okay, even come to Eastern region, he picked or spoke to 243 people, out of 21,233 delegates that are supposed to be voting on the day of elections. So if you look at these numbers and then you look at the sampling size, that is where I have an issue. Because if this is supposed to inform me or just tell me that, how do you call it, Prof. Tanko is supposed to be leading in an election race, and then he gives me these numbers when I feel it is woefully inadequate. That is where my point is. But then it's a good job done, and I think the camps of the other candidates will set up and then would push further, and then I'm sure that this one, only the camp of Bawumia should not be jubilating anyway, because if you look at the research and then you read the holistic thing, you will know that they are dropping in numbers.
The gentleman that you mentioned who published the last week, you agree with his own?
Yes, I agree with
because
him.
Ken is leading.
Not because Ken is leading, but because the sampling size was right.
What do you make of all that has been going? You know, sometimes they've been throwing a lot of tirades at each other and casting aspersions. All of them have sins now. So all the candidates are very sinful candidates, so to speak. I mean, that's what they keep doing. But at the end of the day, the determination is about who is in a pole position to be able to lead the NPP. From the camp of the NDC, how are you looking at that, the race that is ongoing?
Very well. Let me say good morning to you, Roland, and my co-panelists this morning. And also let me say good morning to Bimbila constituency as well as Wolesi. They are my people. I wish them well. I say I will invite all of you to come there. It's a beautiful town. You will like it.
It's been
yes.
8 months, but
yes, you have
never
to,
been.
We'll go there very soon. I'm just waiting for some occasion that we are going to have very soon. I'll invite you to come and see there. Roland, we have discussed this matter several, and I told you, this is a cooked process meant to put Bawumia again on the ticket. It's a cooked process. It's a well-orchestrated plan. This style they are using, the method they are using, the top-down approach, was purposely designed at Alisa Hotel to make sure that Dr. Bawumia once again lead the party. Because some people are protecting their interests. And they knew the only way they can protect themselves is to get Dr. Bawumia as a candidate for NPP. It's not that they know that he's a candidate who can win an election for them. They know that he cannot win an election for them. In all their analysis, they know, the indoor analysis, they know that he cannot win. But the other candidates are putting themselves up because of 2032 elections. Yes, that is their plan. If they don't bring themselves out now, they will be jettisoned
But how
to the
did you
back.
get to determine that? You mean their focus is rather for...
It's for 2032. They know they can't win these primaries they are going on. That primary is designed for Bawumia. Did you hear the tape of Wuntumi? Yeah, when Wuntumi met some delegates and was telling them what they plan to do, and that the reason why they are doing the top-down approach. Then they asked that they should call him to. He and they said they should appear before the district committee. Did you hear anything from the national executive? Don't do it. Because these are people who sat at Alisa Hotel and cooked this plan. You have a party that has lost miserably with a candidate, you got 38%. Now, you are bringing back a party, 41%. In fact, by our record, it's 38%. They are just managing themselves. We, Ghanaians gave them 38%. And RTC, their parliamentary seat is dwindling and continue dwindling. They are begging us not to go into them again. Otherwise, we'll still reduce their numbers. You see, this structure they are doing is not going to help their party. The only thing that I'm worried is that it will end up making NDC one political party in Ghana, and that is what we don't want. Hey. Nobody's looking for one political party.
The cart before the horse?
No, that is a fact. Can't you see it? Look at the attack coming from the other people. They know that they are not going to win, but they are pointing out the ills and the wrongs and what is going on. So we are not surprised with these results coming, the research results coming, the samplings and all those kind of things. It's already cooked. This thing they are going to do January, Bawumia is going to beat everybody, but he is going to lose miserably in 2028 so that they can come back strongly. At that time, he will not be qualified to contest again. He himself, in fact, will advise himself not to come near the contest again. They would have finished him completely. Because for the next 3 years, the thing NDC is doing, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the policies the NDC government is implementing, you don't even need to worry yourself too much because Ghanaians are comfortable with what is going on in the country currently. They are enjoying themselves. Things are getting on well. And people are satisfied with the governance structure that we have currently. Our rating internationally has risen so high. Everybody wants to visit this country now. President and prime ministers. Because of the standing of the
President, it's early days here, right?
I'm saying that when you say early days here, Roland, you have seen the 10 months in governance. Can you see the economy has stabilized? No problem whatsoever. You don't have any issue of corruption-related matter being pointed against any government appointee or any government agencies. Is it not a credit to us? Researchers are here. They should tell us, is it not credit? Tell me, 1992 up to now, which governor have you seen that within 10 months that you will see a lot of problems upon problems all over the places? We don't have it. We don't have it. Under Nana Akufo-Addo, first 2 months, troubles. Even people to sit by the president, you need to pay $200,000. Was that not what was happening in this country? Has anybody said, I've come near His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and paid even a dime? These are the things we are talking. And I'm saying that governance, we are not seeing the best of governance in this country. But I'm looking at the structure the NPP is putting up. Their party is in big charade, big trouble, because the executives who are putting all these things, haven't you seen anywhere Dr. Bawumia goes, the people rise up and say, hey, we have declared for him. Because that is the structure that was put under Nana Akufo-Addo. They were forced to put up this executive in there. And that is why, if you look at the United Party, which is formed, a credible UP party that we used to know in the 80s, 70s, is back. That the UP tradition that we know is back now. He's saying that, oh yes, the current UP, if you look at it, its structure, it mirrors what happened in 1979, the group that was there at that time, and then the 69-71 period. You can see it in there. But the current NPP, you see that they describe it as Nana People's Party. Because that structure is designed to mirror the structure of Nana Akufo-Addo and his group. And that is how they have put in Bawumia before that. So if you go to the branches currently, it's full of Nana people, regional executive Nana people, constituency executive Nana people, and the whole of national executive Nana people. So these four others, they know. We just want to show face so that we all go. They know that we have participated in the election, although we are not going to win. The Bawumia will win. By 2028, Nana and his group will collapse completely. And then they will come back strongly in 2032, and we'll deal with them that one too. So for now, we are not worried. We already know the candidate who is coming from NPP. We are very much prepared.
Who is the candidate?
Bawumia is going to be the candidate for NPP. Of course, that's the man they are going to put there. So we have our arsenals ready. We are prepared for them. And so we are not worried. And for this one there, let them continue their trouble. That's their cup of tea.
You know, for the United Party, your own assessment so far?
Assessment of what?
The ongoing race and how it's turning by way of the tempo of the campaign.
Okay, so let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning. Wish my brother a good morning. I appreciate his analysis. I see my prof here, or doctor. No. Danko, and my prof here will come with a lot of
insights into research.
Yeah. I wish your lovely viewers a good morning. Well, I think my position, I've been pretty consistent with my position of the NPP race. And I think my views about how politics and purpose of politics, purpose of our constitutional democracy, I think is pretty much known. You see, there's a fundamental problem with the NPP. I think the solution is not in just picking a presidential candidate. I think the biggest issue is the character, the spirit, the value set of the party now, and how those value sets have veered away from why we ought to be doing politics in the first place. There's a fundamental flaw with the culture within their party. You see, there's a lot of definition for what politics is. But if there's one definition that I prefer beyond all other definitions, is the definition that Aristotle gave. And the view of Aristotle, politics is a science. It's not just a science, it's a master science. and it's a master science that uses all the other science, law, economics, education, use all those science for one end and one end only, to build a strong state. Because when you build a strong state, then it will be easy for you to then deal with the well-being of your citizens. You understand? And so anybody that does politics, in whatever form or shape, whether you're a journalist, whether you're an opposition, whether you're a CSO, whether you are a pollster, then your focus should only be to use whichever position you are in playing this game towards building a strong state. And that culture ought also to be seen in our political parties. So within our political parties, the culture has to be one that is just toward building a strong state. And you see that culture even in how they govern when they are given power. Now, NPP, we've given them 8 years, and after the 8 years, we have this NSS scandal. We have a situation where somebody whose average salary over the course of 8 years was about 24,000, and yet he's managed to amass wealth in excess of 50 million. So you have the National Signal Bureau's scandal. You have the issues with the ECG. You have a situation where after 8 years, the spirit, the virtue of this nation was broken. You have a party that oversaw an attack on our democracy. You had a party that sat down and allowed the president sponsored to appoint people who are perceived or who were perceived to have political career into our EC. You have a situation where the person we give our powers to, the trustee, having been sponsored by the NPP, oversee this Galamsey issue, and the disappointment with knowing that having been given 2 reports, one report from his environmental minister and a report from the CID, he shelved those reports. So you'd be thinking that this party, whose culture is very parochial, extremely parochial, party that clearly has demonstrated that they have no regard for the good of the state, that they will deal with the culture within. You understand? And that once that culture within, you understand, has been altered from one that is parochial to one that is patriotic, then they'll be in the better state of choosing somebody who can best represent and push the aspirations of the people of Ghana. Well, at all time in politics, the state has to supersede all every interest. You understand? But they are not doing that. And you see an expression of their perverse character in how their presidential election is being done. You yourself said, I didn't say it, that it has become a sinners contest. You understand? Instead of this being an opportunity where policy will be discussed, this will be an opportunity where debates as to how we advance the cause of our country will be discussed. Instead, we are being inundated with discussions about sins. 10 cents of Baumia, 10 cents of Bright Champon, 10 cents of Kennedy in Japan. And it tells you that for we as Ghanaians, the sovereign, we should not be considering anybody they bring. Because they certainly do not have the interest of the country at heart. For an activity that is supposed to be the master science, they've reduced it to a criminal organization. It doesn't cry aloud if they were serious. And if they were being driven by the right value set, why would a regional chairman set up what's called a video station, and all he does is to insult, denigrate the person, the character of senior members of his party? Why would he? Because he ought to be in a position of neutrality. I believe, you see, nobody is neutral, really, because even the EC votes. But for the good of the whole, sometimes we ought not to know the position, let's say, the EC or people in executive positions. As a regional executive, we shouldn't know. But the regional executive can stand on platforms and go after the character, the person of senior members.
You only said that this was in.
No, but it's yours. Abronya has thrown his hat, has shown whether he supports Bawumia. Yeah. It shouldn't be happening. It was good. Chema to me. It shouldn't be happening. If
but
you were
driven,
no, but you see, you were a party. I'm saying you're a party, and when the political business, you understand? I'm saying that the sole purpose is to build a system. You understand? That ultimately ought to build a very strong state. And to do that, you need to first of all deal with the values in your party. So the values in your party, because your job is to use the power politics will give you to build a strong state, then your values should not be parochial. Because I can tell you that what is driving a lot of the people in the NPP right now is not what is in the interest of the country. So what is in the interest of their party is what is in their individual interest. That's what drives them. That's what drives the NPP now. And so if that's the case, then do you honestly believe that with the kind of culture that exists in their party, with the kind of value that they are exuding, with a clear lack of patriotism in their party, and they say it all the time. As I recall Nanabi saying that their party is supreme. Yeah, you understand. And when you
said Nanabi said what?
That the party is supreme.
But which is true.
No, it ought not to be the case.
The political party is supreme.
No, it ought not to be the case. We do politics. I'm saying that when you define what politics is, and my favorite definition of what politics is the definition given by Aristotle, that you do politics to build a strong state. You understand? So we have political parties, and the values of the political parties must align to the values of the state. You understand? So the only reason why, because when you are going to sponsor somebody who will become president of Ghana, so you don't want a situation of, as in the words of Nanado, where he was saying that, listen, I reneged on my duty towards the people of Kofi because they did not vote for my MP. He said that. That where you have a president that says that if you don't vote for my MP, I can assure the people of Federation that nobody can lobby me to bring development to Federation. And he will say that because he thinks he's president of his party. Not president. It's not about NDC. No, it's not about NDC. Sometimes we think, you see, the way we do politics here, we think it's a game. But we think, but you see, you have a situation where poverty is staring in the face of the masses of the people of Ghana. You have a situation where we are failing as a nation to provide quality health care. We have a situation where we are failing to provide quality education. We have a situation where all of our lives are peril because of the menace of Galamsey. But that will happen because of the way we do politics here. We don't understand that the essence of politics is to build a strong state. I'm saying that the new patriotic party have demonstrated that they do not have that culture that puts the interest of the state first. So if that's the case, and you see that clear in the words of their own legend, Darocha, BJ Darocha, in 2008, when the issue of Alan Chamantin came up, and BJ Darocha wrote that they should not accept Alan Chamantin back into their party. Why? Because if Alan Chamantin is asked to choose between Ghana and the NPP, he's going to choose Ghana. And that ought to have been a plus. Because the reason why we do politics in this country always ought to be Ghana. and that's where your party is departing from that Ghana agenda, then you ought to discard that party. So for me, Roland, I'm not interested in their
internal politics,
because their focus, the purpose of what they are doing, certainly isn't Ghana. The focus of what they are doing, this Senate contest, this contest where their national executives do not mind making the water murky, undermining their own set values, then we ought not to be too interested in them. You understand? And with the repository of sovereign power, we make the first decision in every political cycle. You understand? We should not be swayed by this supposed NPP, NDC game. And that's what I told you. You asked me now, you know the name. That for us, the reason why we formed the United Party was because we believed strongly that the way we do politics in this country has become very parochial. And that clearly the NPP do not care about Ghana. And so we form a new political party with the right spirit, with the right culture. And our purpose is seen in our motto, which is Ghana first. And so please, I know you, the journalists, you enjoy this NPP banter, but for me that is not the most critical thing. The most critical thing right now is we ought to change how politics is done in this country, and we ought to do politics that will build that strong state and that would put the well-being or the welfare of the citizens at heart. And I'm not convinced that the way the NPP are behaving, they are capable of doing that. So let's forget about them. I'm not interested in them.
Now, the polls are indicating on one side, Kennedy Japan is leading, DMB is leading on the side. What really, by way of your own experiences as an academician, research the minimum or maximum sample size you should pick among a bigger population?
All right. Good morning.
And your own assessment about the campaign so far.
Sure. Good morning to all of us once again, and good morning to our viewers and social media followers. You see, research has a lot of influential factors. So issues of objectivity, issues of subjectiveness can play on the output of your research. All right. So you go into a research with a premeditated, view.
You're saying there's a possibility?
Oh yes, that is what you get. And you go into a research where you think that the data must speak for itself. So that is equally the output that you get. Research is full of decisions. At every stage of a research, you are making a decision. And one of the critical points of your decision making that can affect your output has to do with your methodology. So I'm not surprised that people will start questioning about methodology and all that. But the methodology that is not tied to a research problem, a methodology that is not tied to a research objective, is no methodology in the first place. All right. Now, we need to understand the differences between this issue about sample sizing and population. At what time do you use a sample size, and at what time do you use a population? When your population is smaller, you don't need a sample size. So what it means is that you use a sample size when you have a larger population, and sometimes which is not clearly defined. Then you probably may want to find a percentage, because you cannot cover, every space. Now, with my personal experience, I did something on voters, Ghanaian voters, with my PhD. All right. And as at that time, you had a voter population of around 16 million. How do I cover all of them? We had 10 regions in Ghana then. How do I cover all the 10 regions? So methodology became key. All right. Now, you see, when you are talking about sample size, you should be careful with your calculations and how you determine it. Very, very important. So researchers like Craigie and Morgan, 1970, 2012, came up with a table that determines, which sample size is tied to which
population size.
So sample sizes of around 80. You can use 80. All right.
Determine for a population of
100.
Okay.
Okay. You can use sample size of around 300, around 380, 400
to determine
for a population of 1 million.
Depends on where within the demographics you pick.
Exactly. Now, my personal experience dealing with 16 million population, I started with a sample size of 250 to run my data to see if I'll get results. So from 250, I started running the data. Around 350, I got to the point of saturation. You see? So anytime that I add, I was almost getting the same results. I got the same results, up to 503.
Okay.
So I realized that what I was getting from 350 up to 500 were almost the same results. So why should I continue to 600 and 2,000?
Okay.
Now the danger, if you have a larger sample size, is margin of error.
So you're saying that by way of academic advisory, you don't pick larger sample sizes because
So I'm just reacting to what Dr. Nyi said.
it could lead to saturation.
Look, Dr. Boy.
Yes, it doesn't matter if Musa is using what and
Your other friend, what's his name? The one you said released for Ken
Evans Dua.
Evans
Yeah.
Diaz. Because he likes Evans
yes.
Diaz, doesn't like.
No, I followed Evans Diaz. I've read whatever he did. Okay, in as much as he did a thorough work, but the issue of sample size doesn't mean that the
results are wrong
accurate.
or right.
Exactly.
Okay.
You understand? So it doesn't put it that way. I think somewhere in Nepal or something, when the NPP did their congress at Legon.
Conference. They call it conference.
Conference, okay. I was there with
As a
group
member?
of students. No, not as a member, as a researcher. I'm doing a paper
Okay.
on how to, select, how do you call it, candidates among.
What did you find out so far?
Don't worry.
Okay.
That one is not for the cameras.
Okay.
It's between
for,
myself.
it's for advisory. Okay. So
So I'm coming to that point.
Okay.
And
because I want your observation on
Yes.
the campaigning, its influence on the delegates,
come to
because the
that.
delegates are predetermined.
I'll come to that. You see, because you need to put this issue, to a logical conclusion, all right? Because everybody seems to be interested in some, how do you call it, sample size and the margin of error, without actually understanding what goes into these things. Yeah. So when I did around 500. You understand? And the results that I got for Musa Dankwai's last 4 outputs,
They tied.
they tied in there.
They synced with it, the results.
With almost all the variables. So
Maybe
I
a percentage or two less
exactly.
or more.
Yeah.
By way of
I
the
did
error.
check, yeah. You understand? So what I've not done is to look at Evans Diaz's own compared to mine. All right, yeah.
But
I've
you are
not done
saying, if I get it right from your response, that there's a higher error if you pick larger sample sizes.
Yes.
Okay.
that.
So,
Your small, what it means is that your smaller margin of error, requires larger sample size.
Okay.
That is what it means.
Now-
And so we need to know what a larger sample size is. Larger sample size does not mean that for a population of 17 million voters or 204 1,000 voters. You need to go and pick 100,000
or even 30,000.
Exactly. 500 is excellent, according to her.
As a baseline.
Excellent. I'm talking about excellent. You see, so sample sizes ranges from good, very good, and excellent.
All right.
So 500 is the excellent point.
Okay. Thank you for the academic lecture. Now let's come to the political discussion. So,
but do you understand what
my
I've said?
political discussion question?
Do you understand what I've said?
Yes, I've been a student. So
okay, right.
Yeah, I understand it very well. So my question then is, the Dr. Kweku Boahen is concerned that as a think tank, their observation is trumpeting a certain outcome of a survey or research is part of communicating a certain political message, if I interpret his responses rightly. And so over time, just like Joseph Goebbels did during the Hitler era, over time it becomes the truth and could influence people's choices. That's what he's saying. So my question is, where we have a delegates list that is predetermined, they are not going to be changed from the last. Does it matter? Based on your observation and how the campaign is going.
Yes, so for me, the delegates list is one thing, and then the kind of message that you put in is equally another thing. Your strategy is another thing. The way you present yourself, you see, so these are determinants that could, as it were, influence, what each of these candidates would get. And so for me, sometimes when I see people blaming candidate A, B, for the past and all that, I tend to laugh, because obviously it sounds to me that you don't really have a strategy, you don't really have a message. So the message that you can only hit is to discredit one particular candidate.
You think that's what's happening?
Yes, that's what I see.
Okay.
All right. And
so who is being discredited?
Oh, obviously, Dr. Bawumia has been, hated everywhere.
They all seem to focus him
like Azuma
as part of their message,
having Fenech in the ring.
Yeah,
you understand. So for me, yes, they can still go ahead and do that because it is a plus for him. From a political marketing communication point of view, you are making Bawumia more popular. People will tend to look at him. People will tend probably to read about him. Okay, and probably discerning minds may want to ascertain for themselves as to whether these allegations hold or it does not hold. All right. Now, what I think politicians need to know is the kind of voter orientation, popping up in Ghana's politics. The voter of 2012 is not the voter now. And so people have learned, people have developed knowledge in elections, all right? And those days, people will go to the polls without even knowing who to vote for. They will choose pictures. This time, it's not like that. People have gotten to the point of tying the qualities, the experiences, the abilities and capabilities of a candidate to their decision. And so people are not just making raw street kind of decision making when it comes to voting. All right. So obviously it's about you, the candidate, presenting yourself as being capable, presenting a message that is convincing, presenting a message that will tell people that this candidate, when elected into government, can change my standards of living, can improve the economy, and then put Ghana's economy and image at the level that it is required. So I think that these whole issues about research, before I get in, I think that we were trying to talk about, you asked me an earlier question about how do you call it, Musa Danquest and then the other guy's own, and we were asking why
it was purely based on the
Yeah, so I want to make this point.
Yeah, whether they communicate, they tend to become communicating messages.
Yes, I can give you a questionnaire. Administer this questionnaire among the 5 of us here. And then I'll give Lawyer Pierre Dankwa the same questionnaire. Administer it among, at another time, among the 5 of us. It is not certain that the results will be the same. Yes. Same
questionnaire, different responses.
Yes.
Different times.
Exactly.
Okay. Dr. Wekubuayin,
yes, sir.
What's your own assessment from where you come from about the way the campaign is going? The messaging, because, for example, I've heard from the Ken camp and then the Brian camp as well. They also say that the gentleman, Dr. Mahmoud Uban, the former vice president, the candidate, got some zeros and things like. He's also rebutted that as well. He's even responded to the Ken camp and then also the Brian camp about whether jobs have been created. I've heard Abronya say that policies in government led to creation of jobs. Just like Ken also says, and then same for Brian, that I've set up businesses who are creating jobs as part of the rebuttal. What do you think those messaging do and tend to influence voters? Those 204,000 you say.
Let me first start by...
You have 2 minutes for this.
2 minutes, Roland. From all indications and all that from the little bits of research we have done within the regions where Kennedy Ohene Japan has visited, so far, we think that his message is catching up with the delegates. He's doing well by way of communicating with them. He's not punching people, where I disagree a little bit with Doc Boyan when he says that Baumia is the one being punched. He's not, actually. The one who is being punched here.
On this table, we don't throw jabs at co-panelists.
No.
The only people who do that.
No, this is not a jab.
I'm not throwing it.
The only people who do that.
I said.
The only people who do that, Jazatu and Solo. Please go ahead.
I'm saying that I disagree a little bit with his comments on that. Because if you look at the one that is being punched here, the one that people are out there setting up radio stations and castigating is Ken, and not Baumia. Do you understand me, where I'm coming from? Because it's a whole former regional chairman, current regional chairman, setting up a whole radio station or whatever TV station just to attack the personality of one candidate.
Is that what he's doing?
That is what he's doing against Kennedy Ohene Japan. And Baumia has never been touched by anybody.
But Baumia himself is not trumpeting such message. And Baumia says that, I've heard him on the campaign platform, you cannot use the utterances of my followers to make a determination that the comments they make are my principles and stance.
Roland,
that's a rebuttal.
Roland, who is the beneficiary?
What about the jabs from the Ken and then Brian camp that the man got zero? He said the Muslims and all that.
That is a fact. That has nothing to do with jabbing. It's a fact that in polling stations up north, Baumia got zero.
That's a fact.
But that's a jab.
That's a jab.
You're ridiculing him.
And then when you look at Kennedy Japan's messaging at the moment, he's talking about jobs creation. He's talking about what he thinks that industrialization, what he thinks that within the 5 northern regions he can do within every single constituency because of the vast lands they have and all that.
I don't understand. We had one district, one factory. What do you mean by you want to identify regions and have potential for industry again? That's a policy. That's already
one district, one factory was an initiative by Dankwa Akufo-Addo's administration.
Yeah, and it's still relevant, isn't it?
It's still relevant. But then he thinks that everywhere he has been to, all the constituencies he's visiting, there are peculiar things that he thinks that we can industrialize and then create something out of, and will help the people in those communities.
Is he convincing the delegates?
He's convincing them. That is what I was coming to. That people think that because in the past, everybody thought that Baumia was the establishment's candidate and then he's been put out there. And then, listen, the NPP delegates out there are thoughtful people. They can reason, they can think, okay? And then they are saying that, listen, when we walk through the streets of Ghana and all that, from our research, Kennedy Japan is the one people want to lead the NPP.
Those on the street are not delegates. They are not part of the 204,000.
The delegates we are talking about here, their minds are changing. Mind you, We don't have Nana Akufo-Addo to gag and put people in one sink and then say
So
that,
Nana was gagging people.
Oh, but we all know that.
I don't know.
Council here will tell you the truth. Reasons why they were, some of them were agitated and then they wanted to form a new political party. I'm saying they want to form a new political party because I think that you should take it easy. Council, you should take it easy.
I want to discuss the haircut massage. So please.
I know Kennedy Ohene Japan is going to win the NPP.
But you've been here. You never said anything about DMB. So it means that you are for Ken, Zato is for DMB. But
Rook, please.
No, I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin.
Yes.
Okay.
Prof.
Dr. Gokubuahin, relax for me.
Let me conclude.
Okay, your conclusion.
Listen.
You said Ken will win.
Ken is going to win the next elections of NPP. From all indications and then the message that he's putting out there, and then how delegates are resonating with the message out there. You see, from wherever he's been to, all the constituencies he's been to, and then other candidates are also going there. Yeah, yes, everybody is speaking well, but I tell you the truth, Kennedy Japan is going to win the next election.
All right, Dr. Bernard.
Unfortunately,
I'll come to you.
I know Ken is a strong candidate, but you see, the leadership of the party, the way they've designed the structure.
So you are saying that delegates hasn't changed?
That's a fact. That's the truth. You know, I'm an electionist. That's my truth. I mean, everything I've learned about elections.
You dream,
I
sleep elections.
I sleep elections. And that's what I'm mastering. That's my field. So I know what I'm talking about. You see, the whole structure, the way they've designed it from the onset, the day they announced it in Alisa Hotel, I knew these people have planned something. They have planned something out there, and it's working. So it wasn't by mistake when the original chairman at Ashanti region, and you know what this gentleman is doing? He's just doing that because leadership knows that they've already cooked it. The one who formed the radio or what is it?
They'll be surprised.
And it's firing them. But
shocked.
I do know
Anyway.
Ken is a strong candidate, all right, but his time might be around 2030 because these people have already planned it and they are going to execute it perfectly. You will see.
And to have DMB back.
To have DMB, mark it here. You said I said it because that's my business. It's my game.
Oh,
and I know how
it's going to change actually.
You see,
it's going to change. Dr. Tutubuahin knows. He knows that things are changing.
The truth of the matter is that when you go,
Hot blood, relax.
when you go, you see, people are. You see,
This is about who has won an election.
Publicly, to meet NPP supporters across, they actually want Ken. If you go publicly and say, look,
the down people, the rank and file.
The party people, you see them like that. But you see, this one is delegates conference or congress. It's delegates. And those delegates were handpicked by Nana Akufo-Addo and his henchmen. They put them there. So because they put these people there, you will see that anywhere they go, those delegates will rise up and, hey, even when they say, we pick the form for DMB. That's what they are doing. But they rank, that's why they shy away from doing branch elections, constituency elections. Because if they start doing branch election, delegates election, there's no way Baumia would have won any primaries in their election.
Because the delegates would have changed.
They would have thrown all of them out. All the executives in there, they will throw them out. Because you can't go and give a 38% and expect to run an election again. And the same 38 group want Baumia back.
38 group?
Oh, 38. They got 38%.
It was actually 41.
No, 38%. So that's what happened. So clearly, let them continue that path. And we know that, for us, we are not blinking an eye. We're just monitoring them closely. Watching, you see, you always have to watch your opponent camp, see what they are doing, and fashion out a strategy that will just diminish them completely when it comes to the next election. And that's what we are doing.
Okay.
So we are monitoring them closely.
So you are monitors.
Yes, you are monitoring.
You asked a very good question to Doug. I can see that Ken has a seat on this table. Which is not good.
You mean it was just an innocent question?
No. So
you are saying my question.
I said you asked a very good.
It's a factual determination.
No, not that one. About when he was talking about the Abonye issue, you said that Dr. Baumia has
Policies.
Has more or less
been jabbed.
And then Dr. Baumia has come out to say that we shouldn't look at what the people following him. You see, when you are a leader, the people who follow you ought to reflect your value set. When you are a leader, the people who follow you ought to reflect.
There will be one or two who define.
So when they define, you call them out. In 2009, remember the late former Jesu MP, John Kuma. He was Alan's spokesperson. He organized a press conference where he attacked Anadu. Alan Tremantin came out and called him out to the extent that he was sacked him because of that. When you're a leader, your followers ought to reflect. So His Excellency Dr. Bawumia is going around. He's not talking about policy. He's begging. He's saying that he was one of the main reasons why NPP won power in 2016. And people have made money. The likes of Anan have made money. The likes of the NSS people have made money. Signal bureaus, they've made money because of his work. And Ken Ejapon has also made money.
Not because of Bawumia.
But that's what Bawumia said.
Bawumia said the government was so good.
No. So if your government is so good, the citizens should make money. They took money from our pockets, and Hanan has made money. What's his name? Ken Ejapon has made money.
Ken making money. Ken was already.
Listen.
Before Bawumia became the vice president.
They've made so much money that their contest right now has become a plutocracy. Their contest right now has become a plutocracy. Governance by the rich. You understand? So it's not about the messaging. Because if it was about the messaging, like, to be honest with you, Ken would have won hands down. Because he's the only person within their party who's actually telling us what he will do for the country. Should he become president? No, I'm not here. Please let me land on this. But they know that the contest is not about the messaging. At the end of the day, the contest will be on that day. Who will be given 10,000? Who will be given 2,000? That's the character of their party. Why should Ghanaians be concerned about these people? When they don't even believe in democracy, they are now, listen, they are now, you see, their party is now a plutocracy. Whenever you have a case where you choose leaders based on who has money, then you are very close to creating a system which it will be called a kakistocracy. Now, a kakistocracy is governance, but the list of the list in society, list in terms of their value set. That's why I'm saying that we know people who earn 24,000 on average. 24,000 a month.
28,000.
On average. He started with 14,000, 15,000, ended with 28,000. Let's take the average. You take the average, and he has $1.6 million house. He has, what's it called? You have two people who have been alleged to have stolen up to a tune of 2.2 billion cedis. And it's this party. Mahmoud Bawumia is saying that it was his handiworks because of his works. Listen, Ghanaians, 2028, whoever they bring, let us reject them. You understand? Let's reject them. Let's set them. Because we can't create. We can't create. That's why we left. We can't create a plutocratic system. We can't create a democracy which is a aristocracy. We need to both Ghana. Let's forget about them.
So far, based on the messaging, based on the messaging, who are you impressed with? Which camp? But do you think that because they didn't do the bottom-up approach, but they maintained the top-bottom approach, that could also give a different outcome?
All right, so
Dr. Tomko is laughing.
Before I move to your question, let me say something about what Doc earlier on said. And Doc, I'm responding to you.
Please keep it 2 minutes.
Yes, 2 minutes. You see, actually, in political communication, propaganda is in there. And so there's one propaganda tool we call name calling. Name calling means that you can have something which is perceived to be true, but negative, and then label it on a candidate, all right? And without any statistical evidence to prove that negativity. Okay. That is name calling. And so, yes, of course, there were apathy against the NPP, all right? But is it the making of Bawumia? All right, name calling. So the moment you attach that to Bawumia, then it means, it signifies that propaganda, the use of that propaganda too. All right. So for me, I feel that for fairness and for fairness in political communication, And for the good of the NPP, going forward in 2028, you are all one family. I don't want anybody to probably to think that, look, this person caused this, that person caused that, when there's no evidence of proof. All right. Your question was as to whether, who do I...
potentially based on your assessment.
Yes.
Who is impressing you with the messaging?
Okay. So for me, I have followed, and for the past 1 month, I think that all candidates are doing well. There seems to be some kind of balance. You now see that the level of attacks have reduced, and now the candidates seems to be, focusing on their vision and what they intend to achieve with the party. And I think that even though I'm not so much impressed, the 101 expectation that I have, at least what they are doing means that there's still more room for improvement. And so I'll urge my colleague, Doc, that when he gets to his camp, he should be able to formulate a strategy in communication, political communication, that will ensure, that, because you see, attachment is very, very important. And so when you are attached and people begin to see you within a certain, image, you are in trouble. And I think that for some time, Ken was suffering, from that. All right. If you can work on that, it will be good for him. And that is why I feel that the intensity of his tone should reduce. You could have
intensity of his what?
Of his tone,
Now
yes, now he's coming down.
He's really working on
so you need guys to model him, all right, to model him to that level of statesmanship that Ghanaians probably expect from him. I think there was a last question.
No, there's no last question. I'm going on. The education minister's
Okay.
Social media had gone agog with, there was an incident where a young lady was going to senior high school and, the school says that cut your hair, etc. I mean, just a minute or two on this. What's your own moral position on this?
I think...
is it important you cut your hair or not? And then maintaining the disciplinary code. Some say it's too colonial.
My third daughter is going to school. He should be in school today.
Secondary school?
Yes, in secondary school at St. John's Grammar here. And since her birth, we've never cut her hair. But then last week, I had to take her to the barbering salon to do that. Because as somebody who has ever been in a classroom before, I know what is done out there. And then I'm not sure that we talking about students having that moderate haircuts and all that is anything that has to do with you making the child feel less of herself or himself. It is the discipline. It is what we want to inculcate into the children. It is the educational setting, and then what is supposed to be done there. That is what we are all advocating for. That go there. You see, when people have these hair on and then they have to perm them and all that, and then these are supposed to be boarding students, who is going to do that? How are they going to go out of the school to go and then take their hair and come back and all that? It's all going to be a whole lot of things. So you do the haircut, you go in there, and then you stay for a number of months and come back. And then with the disciplinary thing, it's not a thing of today. It's been there for some time. Just that sometimes some of the teachers will have to take it easy on the kids. It's not everything that you have to go by corporal punishment and all that. Sometimes reduce some of those things. That's the only problem.
What's your own view? Just 2 minutes on this. I mean, it's not a government issue. It's just a normal parental position.
Not that.
We have varied positions.
No. You see, we are losing something. I've taught in primary school, JSS, secondary schools, and training colleges.
So you've gone through...
I've gone through all
as an educationist?
As an educationist.
Okay.
And I can tell you, the Honorable Minister of Education was spot on. When he talked about the issue, he was spot on. And we must support him in this direction. Look, we were brought up in the 70s, 80s with some level of discipline at the lower level. Children are aside that, look, when you give them, especially the gang age, from that period to adolescence, if you don't moderate them, how they live their life, and give them ultimate freedom. You see the red thing we are talking about?
Unim red.
The red that and Unim red and all these things. It's because of this current behavior that we are living. This current
too much liberal
this thing that we are doing. That is giving us this problem. And I'm saying that the day I heard that they said they should stop corporal punishment, I said, hey, Ghana, our culture.
They worship them.
No whipping. The whipping was, you see, whipping. It's not
like the way we whip me and you with the experience. Where you go do like this?
No. You see, it models us to some point. We're not saying that we should go continue whipping them. No, they are not animals. Children are not animals. They are love. We love them. I said, but we should know how to manage them and moderate them. This hurting, if you open the floodgate, very soon we'll allow children to go there with mini skirts.
That's true.
And we say it's fine. It's fashion.
Tattoos.
Tattoos will start going there. But you see, the minister was very clear, and it is very clear on the system that, look, there are two categories of people. For them, they are allowed to maintain their hair. One, on religious basis. It's not the Magoy matter. Because that religious thing, they are Rastafarians. So you can't force them to remove their hair. That's a religious thing. You know the scarf thing. Our young lady, the Muslim thing. Yeah, when they put up scarf, you can't force them to remove it. Hijab, that thing they put in there. You can't force them to remove it. It's a religious thing. Then another group is in terms of health. If you have health problem and they think that removing your hair can give you hell of trouble, they better keep it in there. Apart from that, look at how beautiful our young girls are when you go to secondary school. When they are all with the down cut and all, they look so beautiful.
Down cut.
The down cut, the way they barber them, when you go the uniformity, you see them. Why is it that we are not saying that children should come?
They say it's colonial.
Which colonial are you talking about? So why then nobody should wear uniform again to the school? The students shouldn't wear uniform again. Is that what you are saying? That one too is colonial. Well, wear uniform. Nobody should wear uniform. Just dress your child anyhow in the house and then send them to school. But now we see this thing. We are saying that we moderate it. It's a process that we are going through. When they get to, even in the training college, I am telling my experience, in training college, we're being asked to look gentle and look like a lady. So you see that they braid, they have what they call corn ropes, or what they call the ladies. They do corn ropes. And then we go and cut nicely. We used to have one vice principal, Madam Mwakondo. She finally became even an MP. Every morning she will come and look at your haircut at the parade. And then inspection. Do you know that these days, children don't even sweep? We're sweeping and they were marking us, giving them marks for that.
They don't sweep in the second
They don't sweep. No, go there and see what is going on. Like recruit people to come and do the sweeping for them in the classrooms. Some people come and do the sweeping for them. They only come and sit down.
It depends on which school.
But I'm saying that, yes, I have seen several of them. But our time, we have plots. We used to have compound prefects. And the compound prefect...
Now they've changed them to some health something.
And they were
depends on the school.
You look at your plots and see whether it was well swept and kept and all that. And then in weekends, they come to your bed to inspect how you lay your bed. They were teaching us all these things. And I'm saying that one model us to who we are today. So I think the Honorable Minister is spot on. He's just trying to uphold the dignity of our educational system vis-a-vis our culture. And then the moral decadence going on. He's trying to arrest that. Because this thing is not good. These red children are now taking ganja and even attacking teachers in the school. Do you know that these days, even students that go and attack teachers to the extent they want to mobilize and beat them because of this ganja thing they are doing. So please, let's allow he said, let me land here. He's a former youth organizer, former NUC's president. So he knows. Honorable Haruna Idris. So he knows what he's doing. He's trying to help the youth through the educational system so that we can have the best of students in the secondary schools and all that. Prepare them well before they get to the tertiary.
He's only emphasizing on whatever is a policy.
That is it.
But your own view, your 10 cents. Just a minute.
Yeah, as speaking, I think in a boarding school setup, to allow the girls is for me, it doesn't cut it.
But these days we have what happens in Galaxy, those nice international schools.
But they are international schools. They are day students.
No, they are in boarding school. They are allowed to keep their hair.
Yeah, so that's their own.
That's a privilege.
That's their own system.
Okay.
You understand? But per our system,
Than education
system, I think. But for what's it called? The health grants again, and they really. In fact, I honestly don't think that's the biggest. What's called issue our education system is being faced with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just hearing that right now the children have janitors who clean the schools for them, and that's shocking, because you see, well, in the school I went to, the focus was not just to train your head, also to train your heart and then your hands. So that if right now you don't sweep, you don't weed, you don't clean up and all those things, then what kind of people are we training? So for me, my one sentence, I think it's okay. As in, they should keep
One
their head
sentence,
low.
a minute.
Education is actually holistic. So from the mind to the heart, and then skills development. All right. So for me, I think that when you look at even research, and from my practice as a teacher, from the basic level up to the tertiary, I don't see so much of a relationship between, appearance, beauty, as regards to attitudes, behaviors, and all that. There may be isolated cases though, but for me, I think that the decision to probably, if I listen to Doc, the daughter whose hair has never been cut, now going to be cut, what is going to happen?
He was doing that under duress.
Yes, so psychologically, it brings down her self-esteem, her confidence, and probably her identity among her own peers. Like lawyer said, there are more pressing issues that we need to look at. And one of the key areas that I feel that probably the minister and heads of institutions should be looking at is to focus on character formation, all right, rather than probably looking at one's appearance, hairstyles and all that. For me, you will see beautiful ladies from well-to-do homes with very good character in the classroom, even at the university. You understand? So if we can emphasize, not just the minister and the heads of, even parents, the way you treat your children in their house is what they replicate outside there. So for me, that's the most important thing they need to look at.
Thank you, gentlemen. And Nana Kwekubuahing. Okay, so Dr. Kwekubuahing, thank you for joining. I hope that next week we can have you as well. And then also, Dr. Rashid Tanko, thank you. Gifek Boss, I'm told your deputy, former member of parliament for Myong, is celebrating the birthday today.
Celebrating his birthday. Honorable Aziz is my deputy, former MP for Myong. Honorable Mohammed Abdulaziz. Happy birthday to you. The whole GFEC is celebrating him today. Yes.
We'll come and pop champagne.
It is well.
Have you been to TDC of late?
Yes, they have 24-hour service.
Courage is doing a great job.
Yeah, Courage.
Yeah, Courage is doing a great job.
Okay.
Please,
Mr. Courage, they say you are doing a very good work.
Our book and research, a reminder to you.
Oh, yes.
All right. Nana Gazor.
We'll definitely get you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Let me say good morning to Guy G as well. Guy G, great guy, Prince. Good morning. This one is coming from Nana Gazor. In China, every student wears a school uniform. Even in Korea and Japan, those that we model our economy again. Let's help our students, but let's be firm in our discipline. And then Ajay Boating says that for all the things that have to be done, I side with the minister, but at the same time, we've entered a modern era now, so the right things need to be done. I think this will not go away, even though the minister is leading in the opinion polls as to why he wants this to be maintained. One day it will change. Hartwell Selassie Tamaklu says the girl who cut her hair was looking old with the hair on, but after cutting, in my estimation, she looked so beautiful and very innocent. So Hartwell Salase Tamaklo bringing us the latest. And then Richmond Sechi said, as teachers, we are the ones who face the consequences in school, so it's our responsibility to enforce discipline. The same people supporting the act will blame us when students become unruly and run riot. Even top schools abroad maintain dress codes that students must follow. and then Irama Hilarion. Good morning to Irama. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Irama, and I wish you all the best for the day and for all those who send messages I couldn't read. Thank you all for your messages as well. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have more for you right here on the show.